Hey everyone, it's Monica. Welcome back to Because Jesus Bible Journaling. Today I have kind of a different video. I'm doing a do-it-yourself mixed media Bible cover on one of my old Bibles. I really wanted to share this process with you because I think you could do it to any type of book where the cover is starting to deteriorate or fall apart because of use. I just wanted to kind of jump in and go for it. This is kind of a trial by fire technique. I've never done anything like this before, and so I'm going to bring you along with me to just kind of watch the process unfold, and hopefully it is helpful and enjoyable. So this is my Bible. It's my Take to Church Bible, and it's about 10 years old. It's in really great shape on the inside. It's the Bible that I never write in, but the outside cover is absolutely falling apart to the point where it leaves little pieces and fragments of itself on my lap while I'm sitting in church. So I definitely wanted to cover it. I wanted to continue to use it, and so that's what today is all about. So I grabbed that vintage book there. It's like a children's vintage book of Bible stories, and I grabbed a couple pages that had some art on them that I liked. And then I went through some clippings of birds and some clippings of herbs and wildflowers that I had. I've got some hymn pages here on hand, and then kind of a chevron pattern scrapbooking paper that I'll tell you a little bit more about in a minute here. And as you can see, as I started putting these things together, there were a couple more images I wanted to take out of that vintage Bible book for kids. And that's going to be about it. I've got some ideas now, and I'm just going to go ahead and start fussy cutting out a whole bunch of things and then eventually start arranging them on the cover of my Bible. So as you can see, I've sped up this process as I usually do when I'm doing fussy cutting. It can take a really long time. And as I was working with this book in particular, the paper is almost brittle. It's such an old book. So I was having to be kind of extra careful where I cut and how I hold the paper so that I wouldn't end up ripping it. But the great thing is this is going to give these images and my Bible kind of a new sense of life by the time I'm done. So as you can see, I've got the image of a Bible and a butterfly and a couple of these floral borders from the book, and I'm setting it out, and once I like it, I'm using my phone and I'm taking a picture. And that's going to allow me to sort of remember how I had things positioned once I get to the actual assembly of the cover. And here's the back side of my Bible here. I wanted to do something that kind of coordinated with the front cover, but not be quite as elaborate. So again, I found this little floral border from that vintage book. I've got a butterfly and a couple bumblebees down there on the back cover as well, laid out for me to use. And again, I'm just sort of positioning them in a way that suits me, in a way that I like. And you could do this with anything you have. You could do this with magazine clippings, a vintage book like this, whatever you have on hand. Again, I'm taking a picture so I don't forget what I liked about that, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started. I knew I wanted to use hymnal pages kind of as the base. Now these hymnal pages are really nice and thin, they're not super thick, but I'm not really worried about thickness like I usually am on the Bible page, since this is the Bible cover. And I'm generously using my matte gel medium, that is Liquitex matte gel medium, and I absolutely love it. It does a great job of adhering things down, protecting things, it mattifies everything. And so basically this first layer here is just hymn pages that I've torn up, and I'm giving it a blow dry just so that it's dry enough that I can touch it. Now I'm giving a little snip down toward the binding there, and I decided to go ahead and wrap this cover kind of like you would a Christmas present. So again, this is trial by fire. I've not done this before, but this was kind of the method that seemed to be working at the moment. So I'm folding those sides in and coating them with the matte gel medium. And then when I get to the edge here, I am just folding the corners in just like I would be wrapping a Christmas present or birthday present, and then going ahead and folding it down. And as you can see, that is covering the corners and the edges completely. And then I have a different idea for what I'm going to do right inside that cover there. I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick blow dry as well, again, just so that I can touch it and keep working on it. And I just simply measured that area on the inside of the front cover, and I'm using this scrapbooking paper. Now this is like a fabric paper that I found at a thrift store, and it is adhesive fabric paper. So it peels off of the white paper portion just as if it was a giant sticker, but it's like a fabric sticker, which is super cool. I've used it before on altered books and things to kind of add a little something to the inside covers, just like this. And so that's basically what I'm going to do here. I went ahead and used my scissors to just round the outer corners off a little bit, and then I'm just sort of setting it into place. And it's kind of forgiving. As it got wrinkled, I was able to peel it off a little bit and press it down better. Now, the one negative is I didn't expect it to be quite so translucent, so you can see some of the hymn pages through it, but I'm definitely not worried about that at this point. Again, I'm experimenting, and this is just kind of a fun way to breathe new life into my normal every Sunday church Bible that I take with me when I go to listen to the sermon. So now it comes the tricky part. I'm working on this outer part of the binding of the Bible, trying to figure out what I'm going to do at the top here. And I decided to go ahead and use a smaller brush to get some of that matte gel medium in there. And then if you open your Bible, you can actually kind of tuck things down in there. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm kind of snipping the paper and tucking down in the edge and then giving that a good coat of matte gel medium. And I'm pretty pleased with how that came out. So again, here on the other end of the binding, I'm just adding a piece of paper to cover the edge completely, giving a little snip here and there, and then I'm using my littler brush to get that matte gel medium in there so that it's going to be nice and secure, hopefully for a long period of time, and using the paintbrush, both ends of it, to kind of jam that paper down in there. Again, just a quick blow dry to make sure that I can continue working on this project. It's certainly not 100% dry while I'm working on it. It's a little bit tacky, but I mainly just want to make sure that it's not going to start attracting any little paper scraps that are laying around or get stuck to that piece of cardboard that I'm using as a base for where I'm working. Now this back cover is just the same as the front cover. I started by just applying it to the outer cover, give it a quick blow dry so I can keep working, and then again I'm just folding in the side edges first on both sides, and then using that kind of Christmas package wrapping technique, wrapping paper technique of folding the corners in at the top and then down over the edges. And again, that's just hopefully sealing in those corners that were kind of falling apart on the Bible. And hopefully all of this is just going to strengthen and rejuvenate the Bible a whole bunch so that I can continue to use it. I had one little spot there in the corner that wasn't quite covered, so I just added an extra scrap of hymnal paper, and there was another little spot there that I wanted to make sure was going to be covered as well once I insert that adhesive fabric on the inside of this cover. Before I put that fabric paper in, I'm just going to give it another blow dry real quickly to make sure that that's going to adhere properly to the cover, rounding the corner with the scissors and peeling this off just like a giant sticker and setting it in place. And again, there you can see the hymnal paper through it, but I am not going to sweat the small stuff on this project. So here I am on the back cover. I'm using the photo that I took for reference to make sure that I remember what I had in place where. And that's a great tip when you're doing a collage and you're kind of figuring out where things go. Use your phone, take a picture, and that way if things move around, you can always go back and reset to the positions that you liked to begin with. And again, I'm just sticking with my matte gel medium here. Once I blow dried those things in place, I wanted to add some oil pastel just to sort of antique the page or give it an older kind of vibe to the page, kind of blend things together, make it look more cohesive, I suppose. And so these are just my oil pastels. They are water soluble, but I did some testing ahead of time, and even with the matte gel medium, they're not going to budge. So if I were to add water to this page, they could move around, but the matte gel medium does not cause it to smear at all. So I'm going to go ahead and give that one last coat on top of the oil pastels that I've used to just kind of seal everything in. Once the back cover is dry enough for me to continue to work, I'm going to flip over to this front cover, and again I'm using that photo that I took for a quick reminder and a quick reference of where things were. And I'm just going to use the same method of a real thin coat of that matte gel medium below and above each little piece of paper that I'm adding to this cover. And I think it's coming together nicely. It's kind of a wild, flowery, organic looking piece, and I like it. I'm enjoying it. So once I've got that final layer on over the whole cover, I'm going to blow dry it one more time. And again, I'm just grabbing my oil pastel, adding a little bit of texture on the binding and around the edge. And then I'm basically just outlining all the images and then using my finger to just blend it in on that matte gel medium. And it gives a real textured look because of the brush marks that are left in that matte gel medium. And I really like that. So as you can see, it's just starting to look more like an aged book, so to speak. There's the final coat of that matte gel medium and the final blow dry. Now I will definitely be letting this dry at least overnight, 24 hours before I really want to take it anywhere or use it really, but that's pretty much the finished product. I'm really happy with it and how it turned out. Yes, the fabric inside is a bit translucent, but again, I'm not going to let that bother me. I could go back later and fix that if I want to, but I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is for now. Again, this was my first time, trial by fire, made mistakes as I went, learned a lot. I hope this encourages you though. If you have an old Bible or an old book that you're not ready to get rid of and you want to continue using, this is a great way to bring new life to it. I hope you get a chance today to jump into the Word of God for yourself. It is amazing. Find me over on Facebook. Check out my Etsy store. I create Bible journaling templates to help you get into the Word. Give this video a big thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Comment below with any questions or tips. Perhaps you know how to do this even better than I do. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.